Hey there, I hope you all are doing great. This is part 3 of Say No to Grammatical Errors While Writing in English series. In the last 2 videos, we have already learned about the mistakes we often do while writing, like subject-verb agreement, tenses, and pronoun antecedent agreement. Now, without much ado, let's accelerate our journey. The next 2 problems in the list of common grammatical errors are misplaced and dangling modifiers. First, let's start with misplaced modifiers. This happens when a modifier is placed in a way that makes it unclear what it is modifying. Let's check if this sentence is correct. The man is walking down the street with the red hat. Aha! Is the street wearing a red hat? Is that possible? No. So the modifier with the red hat would be modifying the man, right? Therefore, the correct sentence should be the man with the red hat is walking down the street. I hope you got to understand the right arrangement of the sentence. And now, what does the dangling modifiers do? You know, they aren't clearly attached to any word in the sentence. For example, having read a book, the restaurant got closed. Here the modifier, having read a book, is not clearly attached to any word in the sentence. Like to the question, who was reading the book? The answer would be restaurant. Oh my god, it cannot be, right? So this is a dangling modifier. Got it? Now let's learn how to avoid such errors. First, let's understand the 4 basic rules that can correct the majority of modifier problems. Number 1. Simple adjectives precede. In the example, I set a cup of coffee while she was putting on her cozy coat. The simple adjective aromatic is just before the word it is modifying, that is coffee, and the adjective cozy before coat. So we can say that the basic rule is to keep the simple modifier just before the word it is describing. Alright? Now, rule number 2. Adjective phrases and clauses follow the nouns. Let's analyze the same example. The man with the red hat is walking down the street. Adjectives like this not only follow the nouns they describe, they follow it very closely. So the correct place to put the modifier is just next to the word it is modifying, or as closely as it could be to make proper sense. Therefore, again, the sentence should be the man is the noun with the red hat is walking down the street. Clear? The third rule that we should take care of is adverbs move around. Yes, let's see the following sentences. She quickly ran down the slope and reached the plains. Quickly, she ran down the slope and reached the plains. She ran down the slope quickly and reached the plains. And it also could be, she ran down the slope and reached the plains quickly. Right? Did you observe that no matter where the adverb has been placed, the sentence is always making sense? This is because adverbs are allowed to move quite a bit around a sentence as it modifies verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. However, misplaced adverbs can cause confusion as well. So in this case, simply move the adverb to place it next to the head word it is intended to modify. Okay? Now, the next rule we need to follow is the rule of limiters precede. Let's first see what are limiters. Limiters are words like only, almost, just, nearly or hardly. They can precede nouns, verbs, adjectives and adverbs. Example: in the first sentence, the limiter is preceding the noun few people. The limiter there is only. Only a few people were at the meeting. In the second sentence, the limiter almost is preceding the verb finished. In the third sentence, the limiter nearly is preceding the adjectives new. And then in the sentence, I just saw him, limiter is acting both as the limiter and the adverb. However, there are still some exceptions to this rule. For example, the limiter only can sometimes follow the verb, like in the sentence, I eat only organic food. Got it? I believe you are now clear with the 4 basic rules of modifiers. Now, let's get to know the errors we face due to homophones. Homophones are words that sound the same but have different spellings and meanings. For example, if you write, the children lost THERE their ball in the park instead of the children lost THEIR their ball in the park, you will end up scoring less. So it's important to be careful not to use the wrong homophone in your writing. So, how to avoid such an error? Simply follow these tips. Number 1, pay attention to the context of the sentence. Number 2, learn the spelling rules for homophones. And number 3, practice using homophones correctly. Trust me, there is no other way to ensure a no homophone mistake. Now it's time to discuss the 7th error in the list. That is the adjectives and adverbs. The adjectives and adverbs, where we tend to place the adjectives and adverb in the wrong place in a sentence. Remember, adjectives modify nouns and adverbs modify verbs, adjectives or other adverbs. Now look at these sentences and try to identify the correct one. The players were interviewed right after the match by the reporters. This is the first sentence. Now the question is, did the reporters play the match? No, the players did. So the correct sentence should be, the players were interviewed by the reporters right after the match. Okay? Now, let me give you a task. Choose the correct option from the next pair of sentences and write it in the comment box. The first sentence is, Jane used to bring corn for her spicy friend, and the next sentence is, Jane used to bring spicy corn for her friend. Okay? See the sentences above and try to write the correct answer. Now, The tip here is always place single word adjectives before the word they modify. As discussed earlier, an adjective phrases or clauses right after the word they modify. Got it? So that's all I had to discuss with you in this video. By now, we have covered the common grammatical errors like subject-verb agreement, tenses, pronoun antecedent agreement, misplaced modifiers, dangling modifiers, homophones, adjectives and adverbs. I hope you are getting benefited from the tutorials. In the next video, we will talk about the rest of the errors and how to avoid them. So, stay healthy and stay tuned. Have a great day. Bye-bye.